Late at night in the dark, at least when I'm not with you. It's like without you I just fall apart, and I don't know what I'm heading into. 'Cause all of my emotions flow in a way that I just can't control. 'Cause I'm new to this, I don't know how to act, but I feel alive with you. Take it easy on my heart, otherwise I fall apart. I'm alive with you. Take it easy on my heart, otherwise I fall apart. Alive, alive, I like that you're free. I wanna be that way with you. Chasing highs to take the weight out of me. Far from lows, I don't ever feel blue. 'Cause all of my emotions flow in a way that I just can't control. 'Cause I'm new to this, I don't know how to act.
And a very good evening to you all. Welcome to Big Nerd Football Quiz. How's it all going? Decided to wear my Inter Milan jersey tonight as a kind of a nod to that Gazzetta Football Italia introduction. Well, you're very, very welcome to tonight's quiz. This is, of course, the Big Nerd Football Quiz, which is a series of part of Big Nerd Pub Quizzes. This is coming to you live on YouTube 4 times a week. I'm your host for this evening, Mark Hughes. No, not the former Stoke manager and Manchester United player. And tonight, I'm going to be testing you through 8 rounds of tricky trivia to see whether or not your football knowledge is worthy of a Champions League spot, or if you're just hovering above the relegation zone. If you've played before, if you played Big Nerd Pub Quiz before, then you're very welcome. If you're not, this is how you play the Big Nerd Football Quiz. Here we go. Alright, so like I said, welcome. You can play the good old-fashioned way on pen and paper. You can use the Google form in the link in the description below. That's where you're going to get all your answers. You can play as a team or individually. It's totally up to yourself. So yes, go into the YouTube description, open up the Google Doc and enter your email address. You'll see a ton of multiple choice answers. All you have to do is answer them as I ask them. There are 8 rounds tonight with 6 questions each. Remember, there's only 1 correct answer per question. Once the quiz is finished, simply hit submit and you'll get your scores at the very end. But stick about to see the answers for tonight's quiz. It's recommended that you stream the quiz on a laptop or play using the Google form on your phone or another device. Very good luck and have some fun. If you want to get in touch with Big Nerd Pub Quiz about any of the quizzes we're doing in the future, let me know. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and of course YouTube. If you're looking for a shout out tonight, we've got a couple of people who I know are listening and tuned in this evening. But if you want to be shout out at some point during the evening, let me know. Get in touch via the Facebook Messenger. That's the best way to do it. And don't forget to share all your picks using the hashtag BigNerdPubQuiz on the Instagram feature. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you enjoy the quiz, you can play it at any time. Test your friends on it. And like I said, there's tons of specialist quizzes there. We've done up to 29 different quizzes. I think this is quiz number 30. But yeah, there's tons of stuff in there for everything that you like, from Game of Thrones, Star Wars. We've got Star Trek quiz. We've got 80s quizzes, 90s quizzes. We do a sports round every night on the general knowledge quiz as well. Don't forget, we've got little ones. We've got a kids quiz every Tuesday at 2. Marvel DC quiz coming up next Monday. Father Ted quiz next week. And for any of you who are into Friends, we've got the Friends quiz the Monday after on the 8th of June. Check out the lineup there for the next month. Sure, what else would you be doing? Hopefully the Premiership will be back at some point. All those Liverpool fans dying to see how this season turns out. Normally this would be Champions League night, of course, but... And we've got some merchandise there via northerniretees.com. And if you want to support the quiz, I've got a PayPal and Patreon link there. You can donate whatever you feel. Like I said, the quiz is always free to play, but you can support the work that goes into making it by donating as little as £1 to the PayPal or the Patreon. Massive thank you to everyone who has been supporting the quiz over the last couple of weeks. It's been absolutely amazing. Thank you very much. First of all, before we begin tonight's quiz, massive shout out and thanks to my buddy Tom Hayward, who is the architect of this entire quiz. Tom writes the Tottenham Way podcast. He's a very experienced football analyst and football writer. And yes, he came to me. I didn't even ask him. He just went, "Can I write a football quiz?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." So anyway, this is the culmination of all his hard work, and massive thanks to him. He's a massive Spurs fan, and I'm sure you're going to really love this quiz. It's a really, really awesome mix of questions. It'll test your knowledge, and I hope it's a bit of crack as well. So anyway, here we go. First question of tonight in our first round, and it's round 1, general knowledge. Here we go. Round 1, question number 1. Get us kicked off tonight. And it's a good general knowledge one, but what's the name of the dog who famously discovered the stolen Jules Rimet trophy in March 1966, months before England lifted it at Wembley? Captain Bobby Moore holding aloft the trophy. there in Wembley. But yes, the trophy itself was on display in Middlesex County Hall in the middle of London, and some geezers went in and nicked it. And a dog found it a couple of weeks later. The Brazilians won it for the third time in 1970 and got to keep it, but then it was snicked again. So they have no idea where it is. It's probably been melted down, the actual original Jules Rimet trophy. But yes, what was the name of the dog that found it? That's round 1, question number 1. Round 1, question 2, sticking with the England team here, but on pre-Euro 96 tour of Hong Kong, players Teddy Sheringham, Paul Gascoigne and Steve McManaman were pictured in the aftermath doing what local drinking custom? As you can see there, the lads doing a mock-up of that celebration there. I think, was it after Gaza scored the goal against Scotland in Wembley? Sure, they're repeating all those Euro 96 games on the telly now at the moment. But yes, different era altogether. Feels so long ago. But anyway, on a Euro 96 tour of Hong Kong, pre-Euro 96 tour of Hong Kong, England players Teddy Sheringham, Paul Gascoigne and Steve McManaman were pictured in the aftermath doing what local drinking custom? So round 1, question 3. Which German striker became the all-time World Cup leading goal scorer in Russia 2018? So round 1, question 3. Which German striker became the all-time World Cup leading goal scorer in Russia 2018? I think he started scoring goals in 2006. Yeah, it's appeared at every competition. Germany famously got knocked out in 2018. Mexico and South Korea going through in that grip. I remember that very well. But yes, looking for the name of the German striker who became the all-time World Cup leading goal scorer in 2018. Round 1, question 4. What is the name given to any match played between Boca Juniors and River Plate in Argentina? Possibly the most intense derby of all time. One of them anyway. But so much so, a derby marred in violence. The Copa Libertadores final had to get postponed so many times due to fan violence, and actually got played. It was the South American Champions League, and actually had to get played in Madrid. So yeah, round 1, question 4. The name. What's the name? The nickname. You've got Old Firm for Celtic Rangers. You have El Clasico, which is Real Madrid Barca. But what's the name given to this derby between River Plate and Boca Juniors? Round 1, question number 5. Which of the following teams is the only one of the 4 in your answer sheet that has never been relegated from the Premier League? I think so far that it stands at one of all the teams that are mentioned there. So have a look at your answer sheet. So yes, which of the following teams in the list below in the Google answer sheet have never been relegated from the Premier League? Raffle, you should get this if you're watching. Yes, round 1, question 5. Round 1, question 6, and this is your final general knowledge question of the evening. I can get the options up with that. But anyway, former England manager Sven-Göran Eriksson was the subject of which News of the World undercover sting back in early 2006? No stranger to controversy. But yes, I'm looking for what was the name given to the famous sting, which called out Sven-Göran Eriksson back in 2006. Actually, just to recap in the last one, so the 4 options for that last one, just in case you're playing analog pen and paper, is Aston Villa, Everton, Newcastle United, or Southampton. Okay, so that's the last 4 for that. Anyway, quick roundup of your general knowledge questions for this evening. So, what was the name of the dog that famously found the Jules Rimet trophy? On a pre-Euro 96 tour, Teddy Sheringham, Gaza, and Steve McManaman were pictured doing what local drinking custom? The German striker, which became the all-time leading goal scorer in 2018. The name given to the derby, the Buenos Aires derby between Boca Juniors and River Plate in Argentina. What's that called? Of those 4 teams I've just mentioned, Aston Villa, Everton, Newcastle and Southampton, which are the only one of those 4 that have never been relegated from the Premier League. And number 6, former England manager Sven-Göran Eriksson, subject of which News of the World undercover sting back in early 2006. Alright, that's your first round over and done with. Okay, moving on tonight. The next round is going to be famous quotes. So yes, you're going to be given 6 famous quotes from the likes of football players, managers and commentators. All you have to do is fill in the blanks, and I'm going to show you who said them, and you've got to work out what they said. Okay, so moving on. So round 2, question number 1. Who could forget this? When blank follow the trawler, it's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Eric Cantona, in a famous press conference many years ago. What the heck was he on about there? But anyway, when blank follow the trawler, it is because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Round 2, question number 1. Round 2, question 2. Nope, I'm not going to the... We're not going to be invited. Megan Rapone, the captain of the winning US ladies soccer team, took home the World Cup. But no, not going to be invited to the... We're not going to be invited. So, where's she talking about? It's pretty obvious given the animosity there, but between herself and you know who. But anyway, not going to the blank. We're not going to be invited. It's round 2, question 2. Moving on, round 2, question 3. Famous one from Brian Clough, but what did he say here? If God wanted us to play football in the sky, he'd have put blank up there. Brian Clough, in his Nottingham Forest colours, led them to successive European Cup victories. Only English teams have done that. Kind of weird period of English football when you had Aston Villa winning the European Cup as well. Liverpool dominance. But yes, Cloughy winning them back to back. But yes, if God had wanted us to play football in the sky, he'd have put blank up there. Brian Clough. Round 2, question 3. Moving on, round 2, question number 4. I'm not going to try to attempt to do the long Aguero, but I swear to you, you'll never see anything like this again. So watch it. Blank. Martin Tyler. On that famous day. Well, infamous if you were a Man United fan. QPR versus Man City, down seconds of the game. You would have seen it in the little montage I put at the start of tonight's quiz. But Aguero, swear you'll never see anything like this again. So watch it. Immortalized. Martin Tyler's words immortalized there of that famous last minute victory. Round 2, question 5. You'll remember this one as well from the 95-96 season. We're still fighting for this title, and he's got to go to and get something. And I'll tell you honestly, I will love it if we beat them. Love it. Kevin Keegan, what many saw as a psychological breakdown between him and Fergie. Newcastle were well in the lead at one point during that season, and Man United were scrambling back. And he'd obviously said something to get under... He said something about Stuart Pearce, wasn't it? But yeah, he got under Kevin Keegan's skin. Really rattled him there. But apparently, even from what the players were saying, apparently they were like, they didn't see it that way. They were like, yeah, we're riled up, we're going to win this. But no, famously, Manchester United went on to win that season. But what was the quote? We're still fighting for this title, and he's got to go to get something. And I'll tell you honestly, I love it if we beat them. Love it. Round 2, question 5. And your final one, another manager one. So we say in Portugal, Spurs brought the blank and left the blank in front of the goal. The special one. Pretty obvious what he's talking about. It's a managerial tactic which he's famous for, very well known for. Managed the likes of Inter, Manchester United, Chelsea, now it's Spurs, but like, what's he talking about here? As we say in Portugal, Spurs brought and left in front of the goal. Jose Mourinho. And there's a quick roundup there of the quotes round. We'll go over them one more time. So round 2, question 1. When the blank follow the trawler, it's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Eric Cantona. Megan Rapone's quote. No, I'm not going to that. We're not going to be getting invited. That's number 2. Number 3. If God had wanted us to play football, he'd have put blank up there. It's Brian Clough. Aguero swear you'll never see anything like this again, so watch it. Martin Tyler. Still fighting for this title. If he's got to go to blank, get something, I'll tell you honestly, we'll love it if we beat them. It's Kevin Keegan. And as we say in Portugal, Spurs brought the blank and left the blank in front of the goal. Alright, so yes, that's the end of round 2. Quick bunch of shout outs here. Roshin Cohen's been texting me and she says that she wants to say a happy birthday to her husband Sean Murray, whose birthday falls on the night of this quiz, and he's been really looking forward to that. Anyway, so happy birthday, mate. Hope you're enjoying the quiz. Declan McKay is watching in Jersey. Obviously he's dying for watching some football as well, but unfortunately, there's none on apart from the Bundesliga. But yes, good to hear from you too. John Rafferty as well. Hopefully he's tuned in. But if you want to get in touch with me, let me know. Get in touch using all the social media channels. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And of course, if you're liking what I'm doing, do consider donating to the Patreon and PayPal. Anyway, moving on with tonight's Big Nerd Football Quiz. We're going on to the next round. And tonight, it's going to be the missing link. It's a tricky one, this one. Okay, we're going to show you the careers of some very famous football players. All you have to do is guess, fill in the missing link. Alright, so we've got James Milner there. So fill in the missing link in terms of what club he would have played for in his career. So looking at it, Leeds, Swindon, blank, Aston Villa, Man City, Liverpool. So where did he go from Swindon afterwards? So he went from Swindon somewhere and then signed by Aston Villa, then Manchester City, now famously captaining the Liverpool team. It's round 3, question 1. So fill in the gap there of James Milner's career. Okay, round 3, question 2. It's an interesting one, this. The original Ronaldo. The 90s Ronaldo. Fat Ronaldo, as I call him. Anyway, so Cruzeiro, PSV Eindhoven, Barcelona, Inter Milan, Real Madrid. Where did he go to after Real Madrid and before going back to Corinthians? Round 3, question 2. Hope I'm pronouncing that first one right. Cruzeiro, PSV Eindhoven, Barcelona, Inter Milan, Real Madrid, something, Corinthians. Alright, round 2, question 3. So round 3, question 3. Another storied career here from the legend of the game. But yes, definitely a journeyman. So, fill in the blank of this one. So Spurs, Dulwich Hamlet, IFK, QPR, blank, Aston Villa, Norwich, Southampton, Liverpool, Portsmouth, Spurs again, Stoke, Burnley. But where was he between QPR and Aston Villa? Round 3, question 3. So Tottenham Hotspur, Dulwich Hamlet, IFK, QPR, blank, Aston Villa, Norwich, Southampton, Liverpool, Portsmouth, Tottenham again, Stoke and Burnley. Our next one, Iron Robin. So, Groningen, Chelsea, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. So where was he before? Basically, that's the question, isn't it? Where was he before Chelsea? So Groningen. Chelsea, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. So that's round 3, question number 4. Another storied career. It's Premier League stalwart and Ireland international. Played for many of his favourite boyhood clubs. But where did he start off in his professional career? Or what was the first link in this chain of clubs? Where did he begin? Likes of Coventry, Inter Milan, Leeds, Tottenham, Liverpool, back to Tottenham, Celtic, West Ham, LA Galaxy, Aston Villa and ATK. One of the most capped players for the Ireland Republic team. But yes, where did he start off his English football career? It's round 3, question 5. And your final one tonight. Monaco, blank, Arsenal, Barcelona, New York Red Bulls, and then back to Arsenal. I don't need to say who it is. Man needs no introduction. Thierry Henry. But yes, where was he before he came to Arsenal? Became one of their legends there. I think that photograph of him is actually when he came back and scored against Leeds in the FA Cup at the Emirates. But yes, broke Irish hearts back in 2009. Round 3, question 6. Where did Henry play before Arsenal and after Monaco? Okay, go through them one more time. James Milner there. Fill in the blank between Swindon and Aston Villa. Ronaldo, the original. Where did he play in between Real Madrid and Corinthians? Peter Crouch. Name one of the umpteen clubs he played for between QPR and Villa. Iron Robin, Dutch player. Groningen and Chelsea. Robbie Keane, where did he start his English career off? And finally, Thierry Henry, between Monaco and Arsenal. Alright, hope you enjoyed that. It was pretty tricky, some of these ones. If you think that was tricky, I think this next round is actually trickier, okay? Now, bear in mind, my buddy Tom, he is based in England and, yes, has a very kind of English-centric view on football, of course. So, the next round is a picture round, and it's England one-cap wonders. Now, this is a really, really, really tricky round. This will really test your knowledge of this. I'm going to give you clues. I'm going to show you pictures of these particular players that only played for England once and picked up one England cap, but I will try to give you some clues of who they are and when they were playing. Careers going back to the 70s right up till now, but yes, England one cap wonders. It's a picture round. I'll show you the picture of the player. I'm going to give you a little bit of stats about his career. So yes, let's get kicked off with round 4, question number 1. Okay, so this player, professional midfielder, played for the likes of Spurs, was on loan at Yeovil, Doncaster, Millwall, Swindon, and Hull. Did play for the England under-19s 4 times and the England under-20s once, and also the England senior team. But yes, he had to retire from football altogether after a fractured skull. But so who is this player? Round 4, question number 1. Round 4, question 2. Another midfielder. Played for the likes of Aston Villa, Rangers, Liverpool, Stoke, Wolves, Southampton. Made 106 appearances for Rangers, 94 for Liverpool between 91 and 96. but capped only once for England in 1991. Kind of a fallow period for the English game. Failed to qualify for the World Cup in '94. But yes, round 4, question 2. Round 4, question 3. This is a goalkeeper. Obviously. Played for the likes of Palace, Southampton, QPR, Reading. Came out of Reading's academy. Was on loan to the conference teams. Played for the likes of Aldershot, Yeovil. Did represent England under 21s between 2010 and 2011, 3 times. Capped once for England in 2018. Name the player. Round 4, question 4. This is going back about 20 years. But yes, played for the like of Wycombe Wanderers, Newcastle United, Leicester City, Leeds. 2 spells at Leicester City. 33 appearances for Celtic. 4 going on to DC United. Did play for England under 21s and England B, but made 1 appearance for England in 1999. Was actually part of Martin O'Neill's coaching staff in the Republic of Ireland. So that's all the clues you're going to get from that one. Here's your next one, round 4, question 5. S- 78 appearances for West Ham. On loan to Norwich. Signed for Norwich 2016 to 2019. Currently playing for Woking. And yes, only had 1 cap for England. 2011. Who's the player? And finally, your last one now, round 4, question 6. Yes, a bit of an old school, this one. Played with Arsenal. 133 appearances for Arsenal. 106 appearances for Derby County. Won the League FA Cup double with Arsenal from 70 to 71. Actually scored the winning goal in the FA Cup final of that year. Had spells at Derby County and Minnesota Kicks. But yes, only capped once in 1976 for the England team. Again, another fallow period for English football. Massively underrepresented. I'll show you those pictures one more time. Round 4, question 1. Question 2. Question 3. Question number 4. Number 5. 6. And that's it. Thank you very much. Got a couple of shout-outs coming in via the Facebook page. Shout out to Hunter, who's got me and Kempy involved in our first Big Nerd quizzes this evening, and they're from Northampton. Good to hear from you guys. We've got Gary Williams, and he says it hasn't started yet. Well, I hope you have figured out how to work the quiz. Shout out to Keith and Neil playing in Norwich. Great work. Thanks a million for joining us, guys. Josh and Kieran are 2 university students, Crewe and Blackburn fans respectively. Gives you a shout out, guys. Thanks for playing. Come on, you Upton Pete's in Colville, and that's from Claire, Wayne, Frank, and they're on your tail. Good to hear from you guys. Yeah, Debbie's there giving us shout outs. She's saying, yeah, give us a shout out to the Coopers from the Upton Pete's quizzing against each other in Colville in Leicestershire. Good to hear from you guys. Alright, so yes, we've come to the halfway point of the quiz. It's not quite 90 minutes, but like I said, this is all I've got at the moment. But yes, some shout outs and some quizzes and other things you should be looking out for in the next couple of weeks. But check out these podcasts. This is my buddies Stuck in Here With You podcast. You can find that on Spotify and Podbean. My buddy Paul does this podcast called Hot Topic Nightmare. Do be nice and check that out. Basically, he quizzes people on random topics which they've been assigned. But yes, to give that one a... Alright, apologies about that. We had a bit of a connection issue there with my computer and YouTube. This is the second time this has happened this week. We're going to have to just make sure that doesn't happen again. Anyway, welcome back to Big Nerd Pub Quiz, the football edition. Yes, there's tons of other stuff there on pub quizzes and stuff like that, but do make sure to check out the Tottenham Way. That's my mate's huge podcast and Twitter feed there, if you can find that. Okay, so moving on with the quiz. Let's just get through this before it crashes again. But yes, we're going on round 5. It's footballers on screen. So the next 6 questions are all going to be about famous footballers appearing on adverts, movies and the like, so let's get cracking on with that. So here we go, round 5. Question number 1. Which England striker starred in his own BBC children's TV series called Hero to Zero, which ran for 6 episodes in 2000? Not one I saw myself. But round 5, question 1. Which England striker starred in his own BBC children's TV series called Hero to Zero, which ran for 6 episodes in 2000? Round 5, question 2. Eric Cantona famously turned to acting after retiring from football in 1997. But for what beer did he lead a 2014 advertising campaign celebrating the company's hop farmers? It's round 5, question 2. He's actually a pretty good actor. Round 5, question 2. Which beer was Eric Cantona the spokesman for in 2014, celebrating the company's hop farmers? Round 5, question number 3. Which 2004 episode of a famous TV show set in Ireland featured a cameo from Robbie Keane? So yeah, no prizes for guessing that one, but there's lots of options there in your answer sheet. But which famous TV comedy did Robbie Keane make an appearance on in 2004? It's round 5, question 3. Round 5, question number 4. Which legendary Premiership goalkeeper made an uncredited appearance as a punter in the Rovers' return in a 1999 episode of Coronation Street? Well, if you know where Corrie is set, English city Coronation Street is set, then you can probably narrow down your options. Like, who was hot back then? 1999 Premiership goalkeeper. Who could have actually just nipped in for a pint? Round 5, question number 4. Round 5, question 5. Not strictly footballers on screen, but what was the name of the fictional West Midlands Football Club, which featured in Sky One's trashy yet unmissable soap opera Dream Team? She used to quite like that show. It was pretty good. But yes, round 5, question 5. What was the name of the fictional West Midlands Football Club featured in Sky One's trashy yet unmissable soap opera Dream Team? Didn't they kill them all off at one point? I think just to end it, they all just died in a bus crash or something really mad. But anyway, that's round 5, question 5. And round 5, question 6. Which US women's soccer superstar appeared as a fictionalized version of herself in the June 2018 Warner Brothers film? So yes, which US women's soccer superstar appeared as a fictionalized version of herself in a 2018 Warner Brothers film, which I'm assuming has the same title of this. Should have checked this time. Anyway, so it's round 5. Question number 6. And there is your footballers on screen roundup. So yes, going back over them one more time. Which England striker appeared in his own BBC TV series called Hero to Zero, which ran for 6 episodes in 2000. Number 2, Eric Cantona famously turned to acting after retiring from football in 1997. But for what beer did he lead a 2014 advertising campaign celebrating the company's hop farmers? Number 3, which 2004 episode of a famous TV show set in Ireland featured a cameo from Robbie Keane? Number 4, which Premiership goalkeeper made an uncredited appearance as a punter in the Rovers' return in a 1995 Coronation Street episode? And what was the name of a fictional West Midlands club in the Sky One's soap opera Dream Team. Finally, which US women's soccer superstar appeared as a fictionalized version of herself in a 2018 Warner Brothers film, probably of the same name. But yes, don't forget to like and subscribe to all the different social media channels. Keep your shoutouts coming in. I'll be sure to give them a read out towards the end of the quiz. Just to give you a heads up as well, I've got loads of other quizzes coming up over the next couple of weeks. If you want to check them out, we've got the Marvel DC quiz coming up. And we've got the kids quiz every Tuesday at 2. Father Ted quiz next Wednesday. General knowledge quizzes are every Saturday from now on. Fred's quiz on the 8th. And we've got a music quiz, Simpsons quiz, movie quiz, James Bond quiz, horror quiz, all coming up. And I was actually testing the water there for a Pokemon quiz. And sure, my friends are all really excited about that one. Paul, my mate Paul, is going to write that one. Anyway, firing on with tonight's quiz. Round 6, Stat Attack. Where all these questions are all going to be about records and stats. So here we go. Round 6, question number 1. So yes, which club holds the record for the highest Premier League attendance for a single home match? Now, to give you kind of a clue about this, it's not so much which club has the biggest stadium, but if you can work out what the biggest stadium in England is, and then remember who was playing there for a wee while, that should give you an indication of who that was. That's a bit of a clue. But which club holds the record for the highest Premier League attendance for a single home match? Don't think, unless they played at another game in a similar stadium or bigger, it would ever be equaled or matched again. But round 6, question number 1. Round 6, question 2. In terms of the total amount of major trophies won, which football club is technically the most successful football club in the world? Now, I know Tom has done his research into this. His answer is the final one. I'm not going to dispute that. But in terms of amount of trophies won, which football club is technically the most successful in the world? So we're probably talking a professional football club, not some like Sunday League team or really madly successful. But then again, and I know there's definitely a few contenders out there for that title, but in terms of the amount of major trophies won, which football club is technically the most successful in the world? Have a look at those Google answers and see if you can work it out. Round 6, question 3. Which club was the first to be mathematically relegated from the Premier League? So, early days this one, if I remember. But yes, which club was the first to be mathematically relegated from the Premier League? Round 6, question 3. Assuming that's on goal difference or something like that. Right, Tom? Let me know. I think it is. Round 6, question 4. Who's the current most expensive teenager in football history? So round 6, question 4. The most expensive teenager in football history. Round 6, question number 4. Keeping it moving. Derby County relegated from the Premier League in 2007-2008 with a record low points total. How many points did they achieve that woeful season? Gosh, I remember that one. I think possibly the earliest club to get relegated. The club they went down in late January, early February, and that was it. They were out. I think that's the case. But yes, they had the lowest points of any team. And how many points did they get in that season? And finally, who is the youngest player to ever make an appearance at a World Cup Finals? This is round 6, question 6. You're going to have to look back in your archives for that one. But it's a bit of an old one. But who is the youngest player to ever make an appearance at a World Cup? The answer might surprise you. So round 6, question 6. And there is your Stat Attack roundup. go through those questions one more time. So which club holds the record for the highest amount of people at a Premier League game for a single home match? That's number 1. Number 2, in terms of the total amount of major trophies won, which football club is technically the most successful football club in the world? Number 3, which club was the first to be mathematically relegated from the Premier League? 4, who is the current most expensive teenager in football history? 5, Derby County were relegated from the Premier League in 2007-2008 with a record low points total. How many points did they get that season? And 6, to date, who is the youngest player to ever make an appearance at the Football World Cup? Okay, a couple of more wee shout-outs here. We've got Ian Daly in Peterborough. That's a shout out from Sean McCullough. Good to hear from you, buddy. Mark Wilson says he's really enjoying the quiz, but he's playing with his wife Vicky and son Mackenzie in Portsmouth. Good to hear from you guys. Tom said in here, he's made a correction already throughout this quiz. Yes, the highest ever goal scorer actually achieved his tally at Brazil 2014, not Russia 2018. I'm sure there's many of those corrections coming tonight, but do check out the Tottenham Way on Twitter. That's at the Tottenham Way, and direct all your complaints to him. But yes, we're on to our penultimate round of this evening, and it is all about seeing red. Yes, the ugly side of the game, where these questions are all about fines and red cards, and booking incidences. But yes. Round 7, question number 1. Sergio Ramos shares the record for the most red cards in the Champions League with Zlatan Ibrahimovic and which other legend? Tom, fact check. Fact check on that. How many red cards, though? Can you tell me? Sergio Ramos shares the record for the most red cards in Champions League history with Zlatan and which other player? So round 7, question 1. I've got you in the corner of my eye here. Round 7, question 2. After the Battle of Old Trafford between Manchester United and Arsenal in 2003, which player involved received the biggest fine? £40,000. Tom just texted me saying 4 red cards for Zlatan and Sergio Ramos. But whatever. No, Tom, it's a good quiz. It's a fantastic quiz. I really love it. It's really good. Round 7, question 2. After the Battle of Old Trafford between Arsenal and Man United in 2003, which player involved received the biggest fine of £40,000? Was that the one? Was that the Vieira foul on Van Nistelrooy? And then Van Nistelrooy missed the penalty at the end after Martin Keown knocked him down? I think that was that game. It was nuts. Round 7, question 2. Moving on to round 7, question 3. Who was the last England player to be red carded while playing for the country back in 2014? So yes, the last England player to see red was playing for their country. David Beckham obviously got one in 1998. In that famous game against Argentina, got knocked out. But who was the last England player to be red carded while playing for the country back in 2014? Round 7, question 4. Which famously hot-headed player served 3 months in prison for assault after headbutting another player during a game in 1994? So, again, an on-pitch fracas, as it were. Which famously hot-headed player served 3 months in prison for assault after headbutting another player during a game in 1994? Now this one is pretty old school, but what was the name given to the World Cup match between Italy and Chile, described by David Coleman as the most stupid and appalling, disgusting and disgraceful exhibition of football possibly in the history of the game? So there's several clues there. Well, in your answer sheet there, if you're playing via the Google Doc, if I would give you a clue, this was during the 1962 World Cup, famously won by Brazil in South America. It was the one just before the The England one in 66. But yes, this World Cup was actually held in Chile. So that should give you a clue where this was. In case you're scratching your head, you have no idea. So yes, this match took place in Chile and was infamous as probably one of the dirtiest games of all time. And finally, round 7, question 6. Who was the recipient of Mike Dean's 100th Premier League red card? Round 7, question 6. Mike Dean there, famous referee. But who was the recipient of Mike Dean's 100th Premier League red card? And there's your red card roundup there. So Sergio Ramos shares the record for the most red cards in a Champions League game, Champions League history, with Zlatan and Ibrahimovic, 4 red cards each. But who else has that infamous, acrimonious record there? Number 2, after the Battle of Old Trafford between Man United and Arsenal in 2003, which player involved received the biggest fine of £40,000? 3, who is the last England player to be red carded while playing for the country back in 2014? Number 4, which famously hot-headed player served 3 months in prison for assault after headbutting another player during a game in 1994? 5, the name given to the World Cup match between Italy and Chile in 1962, described by David Coleman as the most stupid, appalling, disgusting, disgraceful exhibition of football possibly in the history of the game. And finally, who is the recipient of Mike Dean's 100th Premier League red card? Okay, we're coming up to the very, very final round of this evening, and it's all going to be about football shirts, retro football shirts. But this is a bit of a twist. We're going to see if your knowledge of classic football jerseys is up to scratch. We're going to be testing your knowledge on shirt sponsors. Okay, so the next 6 images are going to be of very famous football kits from the past, from various clubs from around the world. All you have to do is guess the sponsor which is missing from the list. We've given you a list of the actual sponsors, and kind of much like the previous round there where we're showing the different players, and going to be showing you the blank. You have to figure out which one was the blank. Just a quick note of mention: once we finish the round, all you have to do is click submit on your Google Doc, and you'll get the answers, or you get your score straight away. But do stick about, and you'll see how well you did after I do the answers towards the end of the night. So we've got 10 minutes to go. Let's fight through this one. Here's round 8, question number 1. Another Man United question there. So yes, who sponsored Manchester United when they wore this shirt? So the links there: Sharp, Vodafone, Aon, and Chevrolet were who they're currently sponsored by. It's round 8, question 1. Is that Owen Hargreaves? I think it is. Round 8, question 2. It's Barcelona famously played without any sponsors for many, many years, but have bowed down to the corporate gods and have taken on. But they started off actually with UNICEF charity, then were sponsored by something else, followed by Qatar Airways and Rakuten. But yes, who was sponsoring the famous Barcelona jersey during that time? Oli Kahn there playing for Bayern Munich, the famous goalkeeper. But yes, Bayern Munich, famously sponsored by a company for many years during the 90s. But we start off with Adidas, Magirius Dutz, don't know what that is. Ivco Magirius, again, don't know what that is. Commodore, blank, and they've been sponsored by T-Mobile ever since for the good part of the last decade. If you're into your classic shirts, you'll know this. They've got some crackers from the mid-90s. So yes, Adidas, those two companies there, Commodore, blank, and T-Mobile. But who was on that shirt? They would have been wearing it. Big clue, they would have been wearing it against the Champions League defeat in 1999 against Manchester United. Round 8, question 4. It's one for all the Celtic heads. I know, there's a guy I know who can do this. Who can literally, he's actually told me he can do this. He can list you every single Celtic shirt sponsor forever, and he can name any shirt from any season. But yes, round 8, question 4. C.R. Smith, Peoples, C.R. Smith again, Umbro. We've got a blank one, Carling, Tennent's, Magners, and they're currently sponsored by Dafabet. So CR Smith, Peoples, CR Smith again, Umbro, so blank. So who's sponsoring that jersey there? Carling, Tennent's, Magners, and Dafabet. Classic football shirts. The website actually did a survey there, and they said that more than half of the Premier League clubs are actually sponsored by betting companies these days. But there we are. So we got Zizou there, Zinedine Zidane. Round 8, question 5. Real Madrid have had many sponsors over the years, but who was sponsoring them when they were wearing this shirt in between Tekka and Siemens Mobile? Currently sponsored by Fly Emirates. She managed to visit the Bernabeu there in November. Absolutely amazing stadium. Cathedral of football. But yes, round 8, question 5. Okay, so don't forget, this is your penultimate question. You're going to get the very, very last question at the end. All you have to do is hit submit, and I'll be seeing all the different scores coming up. Like I said, there's no winners and losers in this, but do let me know how you got on. Text me, let me know via Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Let me know how you got on. Yeah, if you have any feedback of the quiz, let me know. I think it was a good one. I certainly enjoyed presenting it. So yes, Man City. Final question of this evening. Round 8, question 6. So Sab Phillips' brother, Eidos, first advice, something, Etihad Airways. So obviously this was before they were taken over by the Middle Eastern conglomerate. And now this is the Etihad Stadium. Or the Etihad Arena or whatever. But yes, this is when Man City were a bit rubbish. Remember that? Remember Man City were relegated. But anyway, round 8, question 6. Those are the sponsors there. So who were sponsoring them before the big Middle Eastern takeover? Anyway, go through them one more time. Round 8, question 1. Question 2. It's Barcelona. The first one was Man United. Third one there, Bayern Munich. Fourth one, Celtic. Fifth one, the Galacticos, Real Madrid. And finally, Manchester City. Alright, as you can see, I'm actually sporting a couple of retro jerseys myself. I've got an old-fashioned, this is a 1995 Republic of Ireland jersey, as famously worn by Father Dougal in Father Ted. I've got here a West Ham jersey from last season. I'm some West Ham fan. We've got my local team, my local non-league team. Big shout out to anyone who supports Clapton Community Football Club in East London there. This is a cracking jersey. And it's actually become a bit of a cult favourite amongst rounds because it's in the colours of the Spanish Civil War, the Republicans, so it's pretty cool. And I've got it here as well. If you were watching the 80s quiz, this is an old school Soviet Union football jersey from 1982. I don't think it's not an original. I think it's a replica one, but it's still boss anyway. Like, I really like it. But anyway, enough of that. Anyway, I hope you've all enjoyed the Big Nerd Football Quiz. Don't forget, there's loads and loads of quizzes coming up over the next couple of weeks, so do stay in tune for those. We've got some answers for you now, so stick about. We're going to show you how you got on in tonight's quiz, and do let me know how you got on via the social media channels. All the links there in the site. So here we go. So Pickles was the dog who found the World Cup. The dentist chair was that crazy celebration when Paul Gascoigne scored in Euro 96. Miroslav Klose holds the record for scoring the most goals in the World Cup. The Boca Juniors River Plate derby is the Super Classico. Everton are the only team out of that list that haven't been relegated yet from the Premier League. There's only a couple of other clubs, Manchester United, Arsenal, Chelsea, I believe, have not been relegated from the Premier League yet. Aston Villa were in there for years. So were Newcastle. And the fake shake scandal, which was what caught out Sven-Goran Eriksson. Those crazy quotes, it was the Seagulls, mentioned by Eric Cantona. Megan Rapone said she's never going to the White House. Brian Clough said if there was grass in the sky, God would want us to play up there. Drink it in, Martin Tyler's famous words after Manchester City secured the Premier League in 2012. Middlesbrough were the team that Kevin Keegan was saying that Alex Ferguson had to go to. And yes, it's always with buses, isn't it, with Mourinho parking the bus. So yes, okay. So the missing links here in the for the different players. So Newcastle United, just going back through my notes. Newcastle United was the missing link for James Milner, playing in between Swindon and Aston Villa. Ronaldo played for AC Milan after playing for Real Madrid and before going to Corinthians. Peter Crouch had a very famous spell at Portsmouth in between QPR and Aston Villa. We have Aaron Robben, who played for PSV before joining Chelsea and then going on to Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. And we have Robbie Keane, first ever English appearances for Wolves. And Thierry Henry was signed from Juventus before going to Arsenal. I think I put in the wrong answer there. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, Ryan Mason. Sorry. Yeah, these were the answers for the final for the English football team. One cap wonders. Ryan Mason was the first one. Second one was Mark Walters. Alex McCarthy, number 3. Steve Guppy, number 4. He's the was assistant coach there in Ireland for a while. Matt Jarvis at 5, and 6. Charlie George. Your footballers on screen. Michael Owen had his own kids' TV show in 2000. Cronenberg was the beer that Arcana supports. Mrs. Brown's Boys. Robbie Keane made an appearance on that. Peter Schmeichel made an appearance in the Rovers Return in Coronation Street. Harchester United was the name of the team, Dream Team. And Alex Morgan made an appearance as herself in that film. So round 6 answers there. We've got, yes, Tottenham Hotspur. That was in the clue. Tottenham Hotspur were playing at Wembley Stadium and actually had the biggest crowd for a Premier League match, which is probably not going to be beaten until another team play there. Okay, this contentious one. El Attay are technically the most decorated team in the world, although I know some Linfield players would have dispute that. I've read somewhere the Linfield in Northern Ireland are as well, but El Attay are technically the most successful football club in the world. Nottingham Forest are the first team to mathematically be relegated from the Premier League. Kylian Mbappe is the most expensive teenager in the world. 11 was the amount of points the Derby County got, and Norman Whiteside was the youngest ever player to make an appearance at the World Cup. Your penultimate round. So Edgar Davids has the most amount of red cards. Lauren got the 40 grand fine in that battle of Old Trafford there. Raheem Sterling was the last English player to get a red card. Duncan Ferguson, Rafa, you got that one. He served 3 months in prison for assault. And the Battle of Santiago, number 5, was that crazy game in 62. And Ashley Young was the recipient of Mike Dean's 100th red card. And the missing sponsors: Manchester United represented by AIG in that jersey, Qatar Foundation for Barcelona, Opel for Bayern Munich, NTL was the Celtics sponsor that year, RealMadrid.com, a bit of a tricky one, that one, and Thomas Cook sponsored Manchester City before they were taken over. So thank you very much. That was Big Nerd Football Quiz, and again, massive thank you to my buddy Tom for writing it. Tom, if you want to write another one, by all means, this was absolutely brilliant. I totally loved it. But if you have any feedback, let me know how you find that. But yes, Big Nerd Football Quiz. I loved doing that. Brought a lot of memories back for me, and I hope you enjoyed it too. We have loads of quizzes coming up. The general knowledge quiz is this weekend, but also there's a Marvel DC quiz on the 1st of June 2020. We've got the Father Ted quiz coming up on Wednesday the 3rd of June. And the Friends quiz on the 8th of June. And don't forget, if you've liked what you've seen tonight, do consider supporting the quiz. If you donate as much as the price of a pint or a cup of coffee. It's a model based on soundness. Like I said, the quiz is always free to play, and you can support what goes into it. Like I said, big hats off to Tom who wrote the quiz tonight. Absolutely amazing. Really, really fun doing it. But yes, thank you so much for playing Big Nerd Football Quiz this week. I'll see you again this Saturday for the next Big Nerd Pub Quiz, which is this weekend. Hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you again soon. Have a very good evening, The next quiz, like I said, on this Saturday, it's the general knowledge one. And there's next month's lineup. Anyway, take her handy. Have a great weekend and stay safe. Good night.
What the fuck? Yeah.